As a Shepherd's Fellowship OG, I feel like I would be remiss if I didn't get up here and talk. I've basically done about everything in the church. Led Bible studies, ran the children's program for a while, was part of the youth group. Scott and I led it together. I also helped lead it with Josh Cramp. I was through all the Hell's Motives. I was way back before the church started. I remember all the pieces of paper that were hanging around at the Nook. I worked at the Nook, like I've done everything. So just some fun stories. Hell's Motive, well, we went through a time, Tom and I went through a time of prank wars. And we got a group together and we forked his yard and wrapped saran wrap around his house. I also saran wrapped his car. Hell's Motives, this is the best one. We were sitting out in a field because that's where we were outside all the time, but we were sitting out in a field. We had these big trash bags full of balloons sitting behind our chairs. Tom comes up, sits down, has a nice conversation with us. The whole time these balloons are behind our chairs. Little did he know, later in the night, all those balloons would be pushed into his car. So at the end of the night, when he opens his car, all these balloons. It was really fun. He had no clue whatsoever. But I think I paid for that one. I don't know why. I don't know how, but I think I ended up paying for that one in another prank. Another fun story, if you remember, it was a very quick flash. The bouncy houses. I don't even know why we had the bouncy houses. Was that? I don't even know. It was oh, that's why. Okay. So we had this. Yeah, it was a big family. It was all out here. It was a big family thing. We had bouncy houses. And Katie Isler said, hey, I'll race you through this one. It was like an obstacle course. And so I'm like, okay. So ready, set, go. And we go running through. We make it about 5 feet in. I kind of veer to the right, and Katie smacks me with her foot and kicks off my glasses immediately. My nose is running, blood everywhere. And she's going through, doesn't care. And here come all the kids, and there's blood everywhere. And I'm thinking, bloodborne pathogens. And I'm like, stop, don't go anywhere. So, yeah, I ended up going to the emergency room, getting all that taken care of. But, yeah, that's
You think that's bad?
memory.
We had to pay $20 extra cleaning fee. So
I know. Blame Katie. It wasn't me.
We just love aggressively.
Yeah.
Love aggressively.
Yes. So anyway, the Shepherd's Fellowship, now here's the time where I get emotional. It came along at a good time in my life. My friend and I, who's now in Florida, we decided to start going to church because we're like, hey, maybe we'll meet somebody and get married. So that was our initial purpose. We went to another church in town. There were no prospects there. So we started going to the fellowship because I dragged her to, Katie kind of dragged us into the Nook for the Bible studies there, and then I dragged her to the fellowship when we were at the racquetball club. And then lo and behold, years later, Scott said, I blame Tom for that too, because we were at the mall for a Christian thing, and I'll promise I'll be done. He kept saying, what are you guys doing tonight? What are you guys doing tonight? He kept asking like 4 times, what are you guys doing tonight? Nothing. We said, I'm going home. I'm going to go watch TV and go home. So then we're packing up. We're going out to our cars, and Scott says, so what are you doing tonight? So then we went to a movie or something, didn't we? We went to a scary movie. It was a bad movie. And but then we've been together ever since. So that was our success story. So anyway, I'll stop talking. I have plenty of other stories if you ever want to know. But I broke the ice. Now everybody else can come up.
I have no idea what I'm going to say. I know the main thing that I thought about as we're going through all this today is just the experiences that I've had in this church and with Pastor Tom and Jenny, and I am just so thankful for his down-to-earth, godly leading. He's been such a blessing, such an example, not afraid to face diversity in a loving, gentle way, though. I mean, what needs to be said is said, but it's not in an offensive way. I feel like he really, to the best of his ability, follows God and wants to portray to us and his family. You know, we've seen him love his family. We've seen him love us. We've seen him love the church and the community. And one of the things that really drew me to, and I can't remember, I think I first met Tom when I was bringing kids to preschool here at one time when there was a preschool. And, but when we needed somebody to officiate my dad's funeral, Tom had been visiting my dad in a nursing facility. I didn't realize the extent of that. Tom had been seeing my dad on and off for years, and I had no idea. And I'm just really thankful for that. But most of all, you know, like I said, just, you know, you could see by the pictures and others' testimonies, just the leading that is very respectful. I mean, in a way that we respect, you know, how he leads. One of the fondest things that he does, once in a while, he calls me a kid. I'll be 66 this month, so that's pretty cool, and I'm older than him, and he still calls me a kid. That happens in nursing homes too, when I'm taking care, when I was taking care of 90-year-old people. But it's just, I don't know, it's just an affectionate thing, and I've heard him call other people kids, and I was kind of jealous, I can't lie. But, but it's just a fun thing that he does with us, and just really appreciate, you know, the leading and the church and where he's brought us to, you know, in our personal lives and the community. So I love you, and I'm sorry I am not remorseful for taking a bite of your sandwich.
I'll try and get through this without crying, but when I came here July 1st, 2012, I was the year I would have been celebrating 10 years with my church back in Chicago. So it's actually been 10 years since I've been here, while you guys are celebrating 20 years. But Pastor Tom, from the day I came to this church, I've made it my church home because I'm one of those types that stay in one place because I have a hard time moving on. And I thank Pastor Tom and I thank the church that I've become a misfit to. And Pastor Tom was the one that got me started going to Leapin to help out at Leapin. So now so one day I turned around and asked Pat, the lady that runs Leapin, how do I get out of this outfit? And she goes, only till the day you die. But thank you, Pastor Tom, for letting me be here.
I think I've been here 10 years, right? 11? 12? So when we first started coming here, we had small groups, and we had our friends in it, and I've made a lot of friends and through there, and, you know, I've became a worship leader here. I became a worship pastor here. I see other worship leaders coming up. It's just really cool, you know. I get to do this with my friends. The body of Christ that I belong to is with my friends. And I love everybody. I love everybody over here, over here, right? And I've been here. The only thing, that's the stuff I love. The only thing that's annoying is I love coffee, and I love drinking my coffee without a lid. And the pastor has always made a big deal about me not having a lid. And I've successfully made it 12 years without spilling anything in here.
You're looking pretty rebellious right now.
So with that said,
not tall enough for that. So I had first come to the church in December of 2013, and at that point, we being me and my ex-husband now, but husband at the time, had decided to go into full-time ministry and had sold everything and went to Bible school. And while we were at Bible school in Michigan, and all of a sudden, kind of things in the church that we were in had really, really shifted, and we were like, we really need to check out the Shepherd's Fellowship. And I have no idea where that really came from or why, but we both left going like, wow, like that feels like home. Like it's just like beautiful, a beautiful feeling. And then it was like, well, shoot, now we got to go back to Michigan, and like we feel like this is our family and this is our home. And so and through the years, I mean, Bible school, Michigan, coming back for a short time, going to Thailand and living there for a few years and doing ministry, coming back, going through a divorce, going into full-time ministry with Aspire and with youth ministry. All these different things have been scattered through. Oh, and having a baby in Thailand, and like just so many different things. And you could go through and nitpick all the different things where have been hard, and things that have been growing times, and things where I've seen the Lord continue to move and bless and move things out of the way and bring things in and open doors and close doors or close windows or shut the blinds for a little while. Anyway, all those things. But the one thing that I feel like has been such a foundation is this community and the beauty in it, and it's been such a big support, and it's been overwhelming to be able to know that no matter what happens, like this community, this family is absolutely forever family. And you can leave for a while, and you can come back, and someone that maybe 10 years ago stopped coming here, and they walk in the door and it's like, hey, you're back. And it's just beautiful. So just the dynamics of what this church is and how it works and how it functions, especially for those that maybe have been here so long that you have not necessarily seen other churches. And I'm not trying to bash on anybody or any church. I'm saying what we have here is so flippin' special. It's really special. And I just think it's so cool how we get a chance to be able to continue to bring people into this community of love and comfort and truth, and being able to walk through the hard times. Because I think, a lot of times we have church where it's really good to have Sunday morning and be like, yeah, like, good morning, happy Sunday. And it's another thing to walk in the door and say, I'm broken and I need church family. And I think we do both of those really, really well. And I'm extremely thankful and honored to be a part of this. And I'm so excited to see it continue to grow. And so anyway, like, I just want to, like, honor this, like, family, and it's so beautiful. And I mean, Tom's great too, but yeah. this and what the Shepherd's Fellowship stands for and is and continues to be, and continuing to pursue the Lord on what he has for all of it is really exciting. So, yeah.
I'm not tall enough for that either. Yeah, I'm Melinda. I've been here off and on for the past few years, maybe 4 or 5 years. I was coming steady for a while, and then I kind of drifted off. I didn't feel like I was worthy to be here. And it wasn't anything that any of you have done. It was me. I didn't feel like I was worthy of God. I didn't feel like I was worthy of a church family that loved me unconditionally. And I started praying about it, and I came back. And if it wasn't for Tom, the way he preaches, it helps me understand and to learn and to grow and I'm just so excited now. I do know now that I am worthy, I am loved, and I am wanted. And this family wants me, this family loves me, and even if I've had a horrible week at work, I can come in here and just, and it stays with me. So yes, I love being here. I am so welcomed, and I thank all of you for doing that. This church has just made me feel so wanted, that's all I can say, and loved. So Pastor Tom, I thank you for everything that you have done for me. Even though you don't know it, you've brought me to the Bible. You've brought me to where I am, where I need to be. So thank you, and happy anniversary. I love you all. Thank you.
Sorry that my husband, on behalf of the Russell family. I'm Amanda Russell. Mike is my husband, and I'm happy to share him with all of you. He is a blessing. So when Mike has always had that call to be a worship leader, and I was working at River Valley Liberty doing SAC, and Steve Ruth's son, Wyatt, was one of our SAC kiddos, and we would always kind of chat it up at the end of the day while they were playing on the playground. And I said, hey, if you know of any churches that might not have a worship leader, my husband's really feeling like we need that. That's something that God is calling him, and we had no issues with the church that we were at, but they just had a really great worship pastor. So down the street, Cornerstone, we love them. And he was like, I don't know of any. And then he went to leave. He came back and he was like, actually, there's a church called the Shepherd's Fellowship that doesn't have a worship leader, but I don't know if what they're doing, And so I was like, oh, well, we visited there a long time ago. I don't even know if I've ever shared this with you or not, but we did visit when we were kind of looking for something before we landed at Cornerstone. And then that was kind of it. We decided to visit. We talked to our pastor at Cornerstone and expressed, we love them. And but this is what we feel like God is calling Mike to. And he, with all the blessings in the world. And so we visited. On our first Sunday we visited, it was just this beautiful green room with uncomfortable chairs and and family. It just, that first Sunday was just we reconnected with a friend that Mike had not seen in years. It was one of their first Sundays being here, and it was God knew exactly what we needed at that time, and we didn't even really know what we needed. And Mike did not immediately become the worship leader. That was not brought up. We had to kind of get in here first, fit in. And then I remember after Mike did, start leading worship and stuff, the pastor, he's really annoying, and he wants you to come to church every Sunday and wants you to be a part of a community. How dare he? And I knew that about him, and so I put this thing out. And I know that those of you who have been here for a while know our testimony. But I was coming up to Mother's Day, and I was not having it. I was not going to come because it hurt, because we didn't have children. And we had been married for almost 10 years. And that was something that we wanted. And I knew that Mother's Day was going to suck. And so I remember putting it out on Facebook. And we have this pastor who's really into social media. And I said, you know, because I was like, I'm not talking to him about this, but I'm putting it out there that I will not be there. And then he's like, just come. And I did. And I got through it. And it was different. It was a different honoring of women. And not just moms, but people who had that role in other people's lives. And it was really beautiful. And I think that that's something beautiful about our church. And as you all know, we have two beautiful little boys who run around and make a lot of noise and mess things up and probably have spilt Mike's coffee, even though Mike hasn't. And they are a part of the testimony of this church too, because I firmly believe that without the prayers of the women who I sat at a women's group and put on a prayer, that the desire of my heart is to have a child, that those women, those mama bears in this church praying for me, and my pastor praying for us, and just knowing, you know, that if it was God's will. And then we found out we were pregnant with Zeke, and then very surprisingly had another baby right after. And he's another miracle who is a testimony to this church, because one of the pictures that just breezed by was of us being prayed over before we had Toby, with a prayer blanket from Ginger's mom's church. They prayed over this blanket, gave it to Toby, gave it to us for Toby as we were being prayed over our family for a little boy who wasn't born yet, who had a heart defect that was going to be taken right away. It was taken right away for surgery at Children's. Saw it 4 times before he was born, 3 times after, and then they went and did not see it right before they were going to be going to do surgery in his heart. And he was healed. And so you guys see he runs around just fine without any restrictions. And so he's a part of our testimony with this church. Both of our boys are, and my husband and me. So, sorry, I'm rambling, but I just want you all to know that we love you, and this is our home. This is our family. And we thank you for all the prayers that have lifted us up throughout our time here, and it is our blessing to be able to do the same for you whenever those things come through. We love you, and we pray for you, and we lift you up. So thank you for being a part of our life and our testimony and our family here, and we thank you for welcoming us in and putting up with Mike, because I am such a joy. I mean, I tell ya.
Not that I want to follow that. But I really don't have a lot to say. I mean, I've been here for a very long time. Those of you that know me know my granddaughter back there, Carly. My daughter was her age when I started coming here, and Tom baptized her, and there have been a lot of changes in my life over the course of the last 20 years, but the 2 things that have been consistent are God and this family. Even the family that maybe I don't get a chance to talk to and feel like I don't check in on enough, I know that there's not a person in this room that if I called them with a need or a prayer or just to reach out to someone, that there isn't a person in this room who wouldn't answer and wouldn't be there. And I'm not sure that, that's something that you can say everywhere. And so I'm thankful for this family. I'm thankful that I don't have to walk through this life alone. And go sit down. And she's super excited because she's going to be a big sister in a couple weeks. And I know that that's just another milestone in life that I can celebrate with everybody here. So thank you for just being my consistent family.
Hi. So obviously I haven't been here for 20 years. I'm only 16, but I've grown up with this church my whole entire life, and I am just so thankful. Sorry, I'm gonna cry. I'm so thankful for all of you, because at some point, I just didn't, want to have a relationship with God, and I'm so thankful for Katie for always being there for me, and for, I don't even know if she's in here, Emily being such a sister to me. She's not even in here for me to say anything, but I'm just so thankful for all of you, and to give me positive male role models in my life, and for just always being there whenever I'm moody or crying like I am now, because I can cry. And I'm just so thankful because you've all been my family my whole entire life. I've never had anything different, and I'm just so thankful. I don't know even what I wanted to say, but I love you all so much. I'm so just incredibly thankful for everything you've done for me. And always, picking me up for church or talking to me when really we should be going home because it's too late at night. And just letting me cry in front of you. And it's just you guys are my favorite people, and I love it here. It's my home, and I never want anything different. I just love you all so much. I don't even know what I wanted to say, but I'm so thankful for you all being my family. I just love you. Thank you.
So Michael and I and Sandy also, because we're like a trio package, really. Before we came here, we actually were going through a rough time at our old church. There were some things that happened with Michael's family, and then some things that happened with Sandy and the leadership that she was in, and we had come to see, I think my sister Amber, she used to come here with Joe and their two girls. We came to see something that Amber did. I don't remember quite. I mean, we've been here for 15 years. Coming up in May. So it was a long time ago, actually, half my life. But so I'm real old. But I mean, when we came, it was just such a welcoming, whoever we had here, they were just so welcoming. And actually we came and we never went anywhere else. We came and stayed one time, and we've been here since then. Michael and I have grown up together in this church. We have a beautiful family. I mean, my husband, I love him. He does drive me crazy sometimes, but I think that I drive him crazy also. But I mean, he's such a wonderful husband and a wonderful member of this church. The couple weeks ago when he got that award, it was something that, I mean, he really deserves it. He does a lot of things that other people don't realize. But we love this church, and really I have to say thank you to Sandy, because she's the one that brought us here. because I was a minor, I kind of just had to go with her wherever she went. So it was kind of like a, well, we're coming here, but we love it, and all three of us have been here since then, and I can say for myself and for my husband, and I'm for sure for Sandy, that we love it here, and we just thank God for putting us here.
There you go. There you go.
Okay. Hello. So I haven't been here as long as a lot of you, so don't know the hypes as well, and a lot of you as well. But when I first came here about 6 months, maybe a year or something like that ago, first time I met all of you was at Panera Bread, and I like to test people. I like to see if they can handle me and if I can handle them. And at Panera Bread, I was thoroughly honest with Pastor Tom and Jenny. When I say thoroughly, I mean thoroughly. I didn't hold back words and said a few bleep, bleep, bleeps just to see how they would react. Are they used to somebody like me? Can they handle somebody like me? And I was shocked and surprised. They were like nonchalant, like they were not shocked by somebody like me. I'm like, wow, these people are cool. Okay, maybe they can handle me. And so I started coming to church here, and I started getting to know people. And I started making friends like Don O'Brien, Lee, Tom, Lynn, Tammy, Kevin, my video game buddies, you know. About 2 months ago, I called a friend of mine who I met at my last church, and we had stayed in contact. And she said, "You sound so different." And I said, "What do you mean?" Because to me, I sound like me. And she said, "You just sound really different. You're usually uptight, strung out. You are very calm, and you sound strong." And I'm like, okay, I didn't notice. And anyways, about a week or so ago, I went to Emily's business, her aesthetics business, and got a facial. And she said this very much out of the blue. She said, "You know what?" And I said, "What?" And she said, "You have changed a lot." I'm like, I'm like, okay. I like, okay, thanks. I didn't really see, I guess I don't see it. But one of the first things I noticed about Pastor Tom, when I've been to a lot of churches in my life. My dad was a pastor, and before he became a pastor, I've been to a lot of churches. So I met a lot of pastors, met a lot of people. And one of the things before I started coming here was before church, you never saw the pastor. The pastor was always in his office or out somewhere getting mentally prepared for the worship or, the sermon, whatever. And you never saw the pastor. And then after church, if you wanted to talk to the pastor, that was kind of a luck thing because everybody else was busy talking to the pastor. And I first when I first started coming here, one of the things I noticed was Tom was directly outside, ready to welcome people in before the service. And I looked at, a couple Sundays after I first started coming here, I said, "Do you do this all the time?" And he said, "Do what?" And I said, "Most of the time pastors are off, you don't see them before the service. And I see you all the time before the service. This is a little weird." And he said, "Part of the job as my pastor is to make myself available to the people." And I'm like, wow. That was just something that really kind of got to me. I've never, like I said, I've been to a lot of churches in my lifetime and never really saw a pastor do that. And I am thankful that people here have put up with my crap so far. And thankful to Everett and my sister-in-law Jenny for putting up with my crap so far. And this I would say is a wonderful church. Something else, like I said, I've been to a lot of churches. I've been to a lot of churches that look beautiful. You walk into the sanctuary, everything is gorgeous, beautiful, hanging nice pictures, nice artwork, the whole works. But you know what? I felt it felt huge. I walk in there and it felt huge. It felt like cult. And when I come in here, it doesn't feel huge. It doesn't feel small either. It feels comfortable, and it feels welcoming. And I appreciate that.
So I've been monitoring some of the comments online. I just wanted to share some of those. Do this to make it a little easier. We have Laura Browning was one of our early folks, and she said that, she goes, "Happy anniversary." She says, "I remember the days before Carrie and Scott, before Tom and Jenny's faith-filled journey to get Emily, before Leapin Ministries when we were at the Center Street place next to the bank. Congratulations." And then Brent is home sick today. He decided not to share with everybody, but he usually sits up in here. And he says, "I've known Tom since 1994. His heart for God and God's Word are a blessing to any church or camp. And I've only been in attendance at the Shepherd's Fellowship for the past year, but I wanted to say that this church shows such an outpouring of God's love, not just to the community, but to the new people that come into the church. Your caring hearts and outreach are appreciated." Viv, your mom says thanks for making her cry. She's on a trip today, so she couldn't be with us. And then Amanda Howard, who comes with Glenn, she's not able to be there today, and she said, "Wish we could have been there today. From day one of visiting, we felt at home, and you've made my kids feel welcome when many other churches we visited had not. For that, we're forever thankful." And as a pastor's wife, I just want to say, like, a lot of times what you folks see is what happens on Sunday morning. You see a guy that comes in a church service and the length of time, and in your heads, that vision of that time frame, we hear a lot of jokes of like, "Well, I guess you're done for the week. You don't have anything else to do," and like things like that. And just from witnessing, and you guys know because you reach out to him and you send prayer requests to him and you ask for help from him. But it's an honor to be able to share life and a ministry with him. And you know how fiercely he loves Tom and I. He will talk about that. He will talk about protecting us to no end. And I just want you guys to know that he also fiercely loves this church. He loves each one of you that same way. He's very protective. He's very protective of you as his family members. He's very protective of this church being what God calls this church to be. And I just thank you as a pastor's wife. So many churches, when I've gone to other retreats or children's ministry conferences, all these different things, I run across pastors' wives all the time, and they are held to a certain standard. They are held to be, by golly, if there's not a piano player in the church, the pastor's wife better step up and be the piano player. They ought to be the choir director. They ought to be the children's ministry person. They ought to be. And I just thank you so much for just letting me be me. There are times in my life when I can jump in and be the children's leader. There's times in my life when I can be the Bible study leader. But thank you for just letting me be me. That's been this entire time that we've been at church. No one has ever put me on a pedestal, put him on a pedestal. I mean, we would fall off and hurt each other and laugh at it horribly. So just thank you for letting us be misfits. And we're so glad that you're part of that family, and it really is family every time that we get together. It's just an amazing thing. So with that, I love you.
With that, I think one of the biggest compliments that I remember, there was a couple named Amy and Josh Cramp that were here for 12 years. They were from the beginning and very much a big part of our leadership team. And I remember Josh at one point was kind of wondering if he was supposed to be in ministry, and Amy absolutely did not want that because she's a huge Christian, but she just didn't want to be a pastor's wife. And I think one of the biggest compliments we heard was early on, she said to Jenny, I don't want to be a pastor's wife the way I have to find it, but I can do what you do. I can be a pastor's wife like you are. And so we appreciate that, the First Lady of the Shepherd's Fellowship. Hey, I know we're over, but we're going to go over a little bit more, so you might as well make yourself comfortable. If you need the big chair up here, come on up and sit and stare at everybody. We've got about another 15 minutes or so before you get to have lunch. But thank you so much for your kind words today. Thank you so much for sharing life with us. And I've been teasing that we're heading into a new season for a while. This has kind of been the representative of the season that we've been in, and if you've been around, you know what that is. Mike Russell put that together for us, where a lot of dreams and a lot of conversations have been about rooms and hidden rooms and fully furnished rooms, and we identified many areas that we wanted to grow within as a church family as far as generosity, community partnerships, relational ministries, people taking and being who they are made to be in Christ, and that season continues. We do not move from one season to the other thinking the other season didn't matter. It's our foundation. So on that, it will continue as well. And I've got some things I want to talk to you about because discipleship comes into a big part of that here in a few minutes. But I've also shared with you, there's been multiple dreams and multiple situations that have come up. And there was one that I shared a little bit about where about the church and a beachfront and ocean. And I have done with my artistic abilities my very best to come up with some kind of visual for you guys to be able to see what I'm talking about. So Chris, if you would reveal that masterpiece. Yes. Yes. Thank you. Thank you. That is supposed to be out of the back of the church, with the church just like the back of the building being two different sides just opening up. And as you move out of the church, you're going to kind of see this cliff thing here that's kind of the protection of the back. So the church is down here. There was protection of the back. And this is supposed to be cliffs and rocks and the ocean smashing against them with, just look at those lines. Right there you can see the power of... But in front of the worshipers, the multitude of worshipers who have left the church and have gone to the beachfront, hey, I can hear you. The ocean is calmness. Okay, so that's the dream. No. It is on my fridge. I got an A- on it. Jenny grades me at home. with the help of a friend who has a little bit more artistic ability than I do. That is what I gave her, and this is what she put together for us. Do not fully know what it means yet. We're going to be exploring that together. The ocean being quieted and smoothed by the worship, the protection from the power of the waves around us, and the protection from the back. She did not get in the cliffs in the back because she could not kind of figure out how to get that second angle on there. But this is the closest thing I can really share with you on where we're headed. I know the next 3 weeks we're going to be studying water. We're going to be in a series called H2O, water in the scripture, and what it means. And we're going to be exploring quite a bit about how to get out the back walls of the church and moving into an area where worship calms the ocean that's before us and the ocean that's around us. So you're going to be seeing that around for a little while. We'll be talking about it, and it's not just me to figure it out. It's we as a community figuring out. So as we have our studies and as you pray about it, feel free to share any thoughts. Feel free to share any observations, and we'll see where the Spirit leads us from there. With that, can I call the worship team up? Will you pray with me? Dear Father, as the team comes forward and we prepare for our final song, I do pray that, one, just worship to you for just how faithful you have been, just how overwhelmingly faithful you have been. How we can point to situation after situation after situation after situation when there was no out, there was no solution, there was no way of moving forward, and you said, watch me. Watch me. And you have been beautiful. You have been faithful. Your promises have been true. And we lift our testimonies up to you as our worship today. So, Father, as we move into whatever you're doing with this next season, give us wisdom, discernment, and may you further your kingdom through misfits like us. In your name we pray, amen.